welcome to the class. It's very cold here in Dublin, it's freezing, and I'm outside a little, so it's a little cold, but thank you for coming to the class. I know it's very difficult to learn English, and sometimes it's extremely difficult to understand people. I hope you can understand me. I hope you have no problem to understand me. There are captions or subtitles at the bottom of the video, and I hope the subtitles help. The majority are correct, but maybe 90% correct. Sometimes there are errors with the captions, but I think it's better to have the captions, okay? So first, my objective. Here you can see my objective, why I'm teaching English, why I give the free classes. So first, it's probably to know more new people. It's an opportunity for me to know new people, especially at the moment with the pandemic and the restrictions. It's a very good opportunity for me to meet new people. So hello and thank you for connecting. Hopefully I can continue to work online in this way. I'm very happy with this method, with this way. It's very good, and I hope I can continue in this way. But maybe I need your support, and possibly I need your help in the future. And it's possible, everything is free, but if you're happy and you want to pay a tip, gorjeta or propina, it's possible at the end, very, very small, because maybe I need your help in the future. But at the moment, I'm very, very happy to help and to teach you for free for the moment, okay? So it's a good opportunity for me to help. It's very good to help you and to try to help you learn English, okay? And also to grow online, more Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., okay? Again, it's an opportunity for me to work again, because in March I was in Madrid and I returned to Dublin, and I stopped working in May because finally we have 7 people at home, and a lot of people, finally it was difficult to teach. So now I have a new space and a little opportunity to finally try to teach again, and I hope I can continue to work in this way from here, okay? So day by day, fingers crossed, I can continue. So it's a good opportunity for me, and my intention, my objective is to be free. I want the class to be free, particularly for people who cannot afford to pay a teacher, to pay a class, because to learn English is very expensive, and I understand, and I want my intention to be free, especially with people who do not have the economic ability to pay for classes. So my intention is to be free for this reason, okay? And also during the pandemic, people have to stay at home, and it's a good excuse or a good reason to create this initiative and this project, because people have to stay at home, and it's a good chance to help, okay? So your objective, what is your objective? Your objective is to understand native people, especially in conversation, in movies and series. So yes, it's very, very difficult to understand native people, native speakers, fluent speakers. Very difficult, very quick, very fast, and I want to help in relation to this, okay? So that's your objective. You want to speak. I know you want to practice to speak in your job, professional or for friends. It's important for you to speak and to practice English, and I hope I can help with the speaking in the future as well, okay? So this is your objective. You want to learn English, to understand people, and to practice speaking in English as well. Maybe for school, maybe for academics, maybe you want a certificate, so that's another possibility for you. And yes, it's difficult learning, speaking, understanding English. So it's very, very difficult. You need patience, and I hope I can help a little. The class probably will be difficult. It's possible the class is difficult, but I hope a little patience, the class will help a little, okay? So I hope there's no problem with interruption, with the internet, with the technology. Fingers crossed there's no problem with the interruption. I have a dog also. The dog is in the garden, and sometimes he's very loud, and it's possible you can hear him, or my family, maybe my family enter, and disaster, okay? But I hope there's no problem with an interruption. I think today we have people from lots of different places, lots of different countries: Brazil, Indonesia, Hungary, Romania, France, Spain, Vietnam, Thailand, Georgia, Tanzania, Sweden, Bulgaria, lots of places, and it's fantastic with the technology. I'm very grateful and thankful for the technology, the ability to connect with people in different places, particularly to help with English. Okay, if you have a question, a comment, it's possible to write your comment in the section. I cannot see the comment at the moment, but later I can see the comment and I can answer if you have a question. Okay, so the classes might be difficult. It's for all levels, and this is the plan for today. Okay, so today I have an introduction document about grammar. Every day, every morning, I show the document about the introduction to explain the technical concepts and the technical ideas of grammar, because during the class I speak a lot about the technical vocabulary and the technical concepts. So at the beginning it's very important to introduce the technical vocabulary like substantive, noun, adjective, adverb, modal verb, phrasal verb, idiom, prepositions, etc. So it's important for the introduction. Okay, after the introduction, today I have an article from the newspaper, from a magazine, from the National Geographic. Okay, and the topic is Sao Paulo, Sampa. So the topic for the article today, vocabulary, and from the magazine National Geographic, is Sao Paulo. Okay, after the analysis of the article, I have phrasal verb, a list of phrasal verbs. And remember, the concept of a phrasal verb is the verb and the preposition, possible literal significance, but possible second significance, completely different. And the concept of the phrasal verb is important. And today I have a list, and we continue with the same list from last week, and every day we do a little of the phrasal verbs. Okay, the similar concept with idioms. So in English we have idioms, expressions, very typical expressions for communication in conversation, and I have a list of idioms to show the class every day, a little to explain. Okay, and speaking is also very important. So my idea for you to practice speaking, I recommend you record, grabar in Espanol, you record a video for maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes monologue. The topic is your decision, your choice. The topic is maybe Dublin, the topic is maybe the pandemic, and you record the monologue, and you can send me the monologue, and I will analyze and correct the speaking during the class, the next class. So that's an option if you want to send a monologue of 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, good. So that's the introduction, and now I'll just show you here. So this is my company. I am self-employed and I work for myself the last 10 years. This is just to apologize if you do not understand me and the class is very difficult. I apologize in the different languages. This is the option for the tip, or the propina or gorjeta in Portuguese, at the end if you want, if it's an option. And that's an option for the PayPal. And Instagram, Twitter and YouTube, I have the same content on all the channels. Okay, this is the dog. So he is normally in the garden, but it's very for today as well. So it's -3 in Dublin. Very, very cold today. Okay, so let's go. So this document is the introduction document, and as I said, it's very important, and every day I introduce this document because there's 3 categories. The first category is the use of English, the second category are tenses, and the third category is grammar concepts also. Okay, so use of English, for me, probably this section is maybe the most important when you try to learn English. Okay, because we have accents. Different accents are very difficult, from Ireland, from England, from Scotland, from the United States, Australia. We have many different accents, and it's extremely difficult to catch and to understand the people with different accents. So that's very, very hard. Again, the concept of the phrasal verb is the verb and the preposition with a second significance. So it's possible literal. For example, come across the road. Come across the road is literal, but the second significance is to find. Here is the example. So to come across is literal, the road, come across, but the second significance is to find. For example, I am cleaning my room and I come across a book. I find or discover a book with surprise, okay, unexpected. That's an example of the phrasal verb, and they're very important. The idioms, like I said, like expressions, typical expressions in conversation and typical expressions in typical with family, typical with friends. And one example is a taste of your own medicine. And I think in Spanish, in Portuguese, in other languages, this is the same. So a taste of your own medicine. So your behavior is particular behavior, and you receive the same behavior from another person. So the taste of your own medicine. That's just one example. Conversation, yes, it's very important to practice. When you learn English, you need to practice, speak as much as possible, and pronunciation is important. And during the class, I practice pronunciation with the reading from the article. Okay. The next category are the tenses. So the different times in English when you speak. You speak in the present, present simple. So we have a few concepts. We have the concept of the simple, the present simple. You speak one action in the present, the past simple, one action in the past that's finished. Normally it's possible regular, but also it's possible irregular verbs in the past simple, and also the future simple. I will, the construction, I will go, I will eat, I will drink. Present simple, past simple, future simple. We have the concept of the continuous, the action that you do continuously in the present, and the construction, I am eating, I am drinking, I am going, present continuous. Past continuous is a similar concept, the action continuously in the past, and the future continuous, the action that you will be doing in the future. I will be eating, I will be going, I will be drinking. Okay, so the simple and the continuous, and also the perfect. We have the concept of the present perfect, which is an action that started in the past, it's finished, but it's relevant and related to the present. And the construction is subject, I, extra, verb have, and the participle, the tercera columna of the verb. Okay, so I have eaten my breakfast. It started in the past, it's finished, but it's relevant to now because I am not hungry at the moment. That's the present perfect. The other concept is the past perfect, and the past perfect is the period in the past that's finished, usually before another action in the past simple. This is the purpose or the intention of the past perfect. The construction, subject, extra verb have in the past, had, and participle, tercera columna. I had eaten my breakfast when my friend contacted me. So usually the past perfect is for a time before a past simple. Okay, it's possible also the future perfect, which is more advanced. I will have eaten my dinner before my friend will contact me. So a bit more advanced, but don't worry for the moment. Okay, so simple, continuous, perfect. The concept of the infinitive. The infinitive in English is very important. To eat, to go, to drink, to have. It's the base, it's the foundation. To eat. In Espanol it's para beber, para comer, para pasear. In English, to. That concept, the infinitive, is very important here, you can see. We also have conditionals. So the theory of a conditional is a little complicated and a little heavy for the theory in the book of the conditional. Zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, mixed conditional. The theory is a little heavy, but in reality it's more flexible, in my opinion. In conversation it's a little more flexible. It's related to if. If it rains today, I will go to the centre. If I won the lottery yesterday, I would have bought a house. So that's the conditional if. In reality it's a little more flexible, but the theory in the book is a little heavy. So don't worry for the moment. Another concept that is important is the active and the passive. And I think other languages have the same structure, the activo and the passivo. The example here is the man kicked the ball. So the man is the subject, kicked is the verb, and the ball is the object. That's the active. And the passive, you change the position. The ball, extra verb to be, was participle of the verb kicked by the man. Okay, and here you can see the example. The man is the subject, kicked is the verb in the past simple, and the ball is the object. That's the active. And you change the position for the passive. The ball was is the extra verb, and then the participle kicked by the man. Okay, so they're the different tenses, and they're very important because during the class I explain the different concepts a lot and I mention the vocabulary a lot. Okay, the next category are just other grammar topics. So we have the noun or a substantive, and in Spanish, in Portuguese, you have the same concept, substantivo. It's a person, a place, or a thing. So for example, the hand, the jacket, the hat, substantive or noun. Every substantive, every noun has an article in English. In English we have an article a cat or the cat, indefinite article or definite article. And you can see here the indefinite article is a and the definite article is the. There is one rule: when the noun begins with the vowel, it's necessary the n. So normally, the majority of the time, when the noun begins with a vowel, a, e, I, o, u, it's necessary an. Okay? The concept of countable and uncountable substantive is very important in relation to how much and how many. So countable, uncountable. The cat, one cat, two cats, three cats. The cat is possible to count. The book, one book, two books, three books, countable. Water, it's not possible to count water. One water, it's incorrect, it's impossible. Two waters, impossible. One bottle of water, two bottles of water. Chocolate, water, money, time, uncountable. So for uncountable, it's necessary how much. Okay, how much water do you want? How much chocolate do you want? But countable, it's necessary many. How many books do you want? How many pens do you want? How many phones do you have? So that's the concept of the countable and uncountable. Okay. The adjective describes the substantive. So the noun, the house, it's necessary in English an adjective. Big house, small car, happy person. And the position of the adjective is before the noun. Okay. In Portuguese, I think it's the opposite. And in Spanish, it's the opposite also. But in English, the position, adjective, substantive. Happy person, tired, mother. Okay, so very important vocabulary. The adverb describes the verb. So in English, the adverb describes the verb. The verb to run quickly, talk slowly, speak happily. So the adverb normally has the suffix ly. Okay, quickly, slowly, softly. The ly typically is the adverb. Also, we have other adverbs a little irregular in relation to time. Already, now, yet, still. They're very typical adverbs also. Okay. Modal verbs is a very important category as well. So we have lots of different modal verbs. For example, can is related to ability and permission. Ability, I can speak Japanese. It's my ability. I can go to the shop. It's permission and ability. So you have permission and ability. It's necessary can. Could, may and might are the next three, and they're very, very similar. Could, may, might for possibility. Okay, I could go to the shop. It's an option, it's a possibility, but maybe I will not. I may go to the shop, I might go to the shop, I could go to the shop. Practically the same. The only difference, may and might are a little more formal and a little more polite. Okay? Could, may and might. Shall is maybe more formal. Okay, you can hear my dog. Where's the picture? Yes, so shall is a little more formal, and it's related to should. So shall is probably older English, but it is necessary to understand as well. And should is more for advice and recommendation. So when you explain your advice and your recommendation to a friend, usually, normally, it's necessary should. You should speak to your friend. You should watch this movie. It's my recommendation and my advice. So for that area, it's should. Okay? Ought to is difficult for pronunciation. It's more formal also, and it's the same as should. So shall, should and ought to are practically the same. Ought to is just more polite and more formal. Must is obligation. You must go to the cinema. You must speak with your friend. And the rule, after all modal verbs, the next verb is the infinitive, but we eliminate to. So the rule, important rule, after all the modal verbs, it's necessary the infinitive, but we eliminate to. Could go, can talk, must speak. Okay, the incorrect, the error, must to speak, can to go. That's the error with to. So the rule, it's necessary to eliminate to after the infinitive. Okay? Prepositions are fundamental and very important, and we have maybe 150 prepositions in English. Basically, a preposition is related to the position and the movement. Okay, I speak to you. It's direction and movement. I am in the room. I meet you at the cafe. So at is for location. So basically it's location, position and movement. And they're very important, particularly in relation to phrasal verbs. And usually it's associated with emotion. So up is positive, up is happy, down is negative, down is sad. Okay, so usually, normally there is a connection with the emotion with the preposition in the phrasal verbs. Okay, the next category is important also, the difference between the pronoun, the subject pronoun, the object pronoun and the possessive pronoun. For example, my house, your house, but the house is mine and the house is yours. Or give the house to me, I give the house to you. So this area is a little confusing, and a lot of people make errors in speaking in relation to this area. So I recommend that you prepare and you study that a little, okay, because it is important. Also the relative pronoun, who, whom, whose, which, that. Basically the difference between who and whom. Who is the subject at the beginning and whom with the M is the object. So who is your favorite player? Who is your favorite person? Who? But I give the book to whom? Okay, so there's just a little difference between the object and the subject. Then this is very important as well, the demonstratives, the concept, but basically the difference between this, that, these and those. So it depends on the position and it depends on singularity or plural. This pen, that pen, away. These pens, here, plural, and those pens, away. So the pronunciation is important and the significance is important. Okay. There is a little difference between another and other. Basically, another is for singular, another day, another person, another week, and other is for plural. Other days, other people, other weeks. That's the basic difference between another, singular, other, plural. There's a little exception, but in general that's the rule. Okay. The construction of the sentence. How do you make the sentence is very important with do. Also the concept of the suffix and the prefix is very interesting when you study. It's a good method to consider the prefix and the suffix. For example, the suffix ance normally is a noun or a substantive. The suffix ize is normally the verb. The suffix able normally adjective. ly normally adverb. Pre, before, anti and im and un negative. Okay, so just important to be familiar with this concept. It's a big help and I think it will be useful for you. Okay, and basically that's enough of the introduction for today. So writing is very important skill, and if you want to practice your writing, also it's possible you can send me some writing and I can correct your writing. With your permission, I will analyze the writing during the class also. That's a possibility. And then exam preparation is another possibility, the Cambridge exams and the IELTS, and that's very important for sure. Okay, good, well done. So now this is an article from Brazil. So this is Sao Paulo. I have never been, but I think there's 12 million people that live in Sao Paulo. Incredible. And the picture here is incredible compared to Dublin. It's a lot of people, a lot of buildings, probably a very interesting place for sure. And a lot of you know Sao Paulo, and probably some people today maybe are connecting or watching from Sao Paulo. But during the class, this is from the National Geographic, and during the class I want to practice pronunciation and also the analysis of the vocabulary as well. So I'll make this a little bit smaller and I'll just try to increase the size so you can see here, zoom. So this is the normal technique, this is the normal strategy. I read the text and also we analyze the vocabulary. Okay, so the first headline or the title, a writer's perfect day in Sao Paulo. Okay, and then I'll read a little. So a patchwork, and I'll just move this, perfect. A patchwork, very difficult vocabulary, of creativity, vitality and culture, this South American city offers endless adventures. Okay, and now we continue to the first paragraph. So you can see the journalist, the name of the journalist. So the first paragraph, a defining metropolis with an ever-growing population of over 12 million people. Sao Paulo is Brazil's largest city and capital of the wealthiest state in the country. A mosaic of influences from across the world, this mélange encompasses expats and culture from many places, such as Japan, Italy, Lebanon and France. These impressions make daily life here one of the most diverse and enlivening in the country. And a pro tip, Sao Paulo is often lovingly referred to as Sampa by local residents. Okay, so here you can see in my notes the vocabulary and important grammar concepts. So first, the first structure, one of, is very important, is necessary normally with the plural. Dublin is one of the best cities, plural. You are one of the best students, plural. So one of with the substantive in the plural is a very good structure and very fluent and just important to recognize. The preposition in is for the country. So I live in Ireland, I live in Brazil, I live in. So preposition normally for the country is in. Each neighbourhood, this is a very important word. So the neighbour, I'm going to write my notes here so you can see the difference between the English in the United States and the English in the UK. So in the United States the spelling is OR, but in the UK the spelling is different, neighbour with the U. So that's the difference here between the United States and the UK. In Ireland I think it's more flexible and it depends. It's not a big mistake because everybody understands the difference. So in Ireland it's more flexible, but in theory that's the difference between the United States and the UK. So you can see my computer is not recognizing the U. Neighborhood. So hood, basically a hood is a capucha. Okay, so a hood is a capucha in Espanol. And the concept of the neighborhood is the area, because you have one neighbor, one neighbor, one neighbor, one neighbor, and the hood covers all the area. So the concept of the suffix hood covers everything. For example, motherhood, parenthood, childhood. We have words with the suffix hood, and parenthood represents all the years you are a parent. So you are a parent at 25, 26, all the years, that's parenthood. Childhood, you are a child at 10, 11, 12, all the years, all the period is the childhood. So the concept of the suffix here, hood, is very important. It represents all. Okay, flavor, there's another example of the US and the United Kingdom. So in the US it's OR, and in the United Kingdom it's OUR. Okay, so I'll write here flavor, sabor, como sabor o gusto, and flavor in the United Kingdom. And you can see my computer again is not permitting me to write with the U because it's recognized with the United States vocabulary. Okay, and that's important for sure. So this rule is possession. Okay, the apostrophe and the S is possession. My pen, okay, but Brian's pen. Brian's pen. So if it's possession, it's necessary apostrophe S. Brian's pen, okay? In is for the city, in Dublin, in Sao Paulo, in Brazil. A patchwork of creativity. So this vocabulary is difficult. So a patch is related to the pirate. So if you imagine the pirate and the pirate has the cover on the eye, that's the patch. Okay, a jacket, maybe the jacket has a patch. Okay, so a patch is substantive, and basically there's an adjective, patchy, in relation to the connection and the Wi-Fi. Imagine the internet, the connection is patchy. That means the internet is good here, it's good here, little, but not total, just in patch. Okay, the same concept with the pirate. You have a patch and the internet is patchy, adjective. It's not very good, sometimes bad. It's possible with a relationship. If you have a bad relationship with your friend, it's broken, you need to patch up. So phrasal verb, to patch up your relationship, to repair. So it's the same concept, to cover or to repair. So to patch up is to repair the relationship, to patch up. Okay, and here a patchwork is related to creativity. When you make a product like a jacket, the patchwork is like a blanket. You know the manta in Espanol, the blanket? So a patchwork is like a collection of different patches. Un obra, a collection of... So Sao Paulo is a mix. It's a very advanced way to say mixed. Very colourful and advanced vocabulary. Okay? Offers. So the verb to offer is the infinitive. The third person is the S. I offer, you offer, she offers with the S, he offers, and the city is the third person. So it's necessary the S here. I offer, you offer, it, Sao Paulo, offers with the S. Endless. So the suffix here, less, is without. Okay? Endless, without end. It's possible jobless, without job. Homeless, without home. Okay? So endless, without end. And for example, the pandemic is endless. The person is jobless. The person is homeless. Okay? So the suffix, less, is without. Okay? And just good vocabulary for sure. And now we move to the next one. So here, remember, we have the structure. Substantivo is the population. So the population is the noun or the substantivo. Ever growing together is the adjective. And for the substantive population, it's necessary the article. So here, the article is indefinite, a, and it's necessary an because the word begins with a vowel. Okay? And the hyphen, this grammar, the hyphen, it's necessary to connect two words with the hyphen. And finally, the two words, significance, one word. Okay? Here, ever growing, ever has the significance of always. Ever happy, always happy. Ever tired, always tired. Ever growing, always growing. Okay, so here the population is always continuously growing. That's the significance. A little advanced, but good vocabulary and very important to understand. Okay, over 12 million is a preposition. So over is more than. Over 20, the years. Over 18. To enter Dicey's, to enter the nightclub, you need to be over 21. So over. Okay, people. So remember, singular is person, one person, and plural is people. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, but one person. That's a very simple rule, but very important. And the error, the mistake, the error is very typical. The correct way is 1 person, 2 people. That's the more typical, okay? Brazil, again, possession. So the city is belonging to possession to Brazil. That's the reason for the apostrophe and the S. Largest. Okay, so large is the adjective, and we have the concept of the comparative and the superlative. So large city, larger, and the largest. So that's the rule. Adjective, comparative, superlative. And the regular structure is ER and EST. And here large is regular. So large, larger, the largest. That rule is very important. And here is the largest city and the capital of the wealthiest. This is very important vocabulary as well. Okay, so wealth is a noun, and it's the same as rich. Okay, richness, because the noun is richness, and the adjective is rich. So the person is very rich, the area is very rich, but the adjective for wealthy is very important also, and the significance is the same, rich. So for example, the person is very wealthy. The area is very wealthy. The country, the person, it's possible, and it's exactly the same significance as rich, wealthy. And normally the TH, pronunciation, normally the TH is th, wealthy. In Ireland, it's possible a lot of people have the pronunciation like a D. So I think it's possible in Ireland the pronunciation of the TH is different from the phonetics. For example, wealthy is bad pronunciation, but the correct pronunciation is wealthy, wealthy. Okay? And the significance of the vocabulary is very important. Very rich, a very wealthy person, a very rich person. Very, very important. And here it is the comparative again. So wealthy, adjective, wealthier, comparative, and the wealthiest. So that's the maximum. Very important concept. So remember, large, larger, largest, wealthy, wealthier, wealthiest. Okay, very important. State in the country. So for the country, the typical preposition is in the country. We are in Ireland and the virus is in the country, because in is usually inside, contain. Okay, in. So important. Fluences from. Okay, no problem, just the preposition. So the mosaic, the influences are from. Okay, there's a typical confusion regularly between of and from, but in this case it's necessary from. But in the future you need to pay a lot of attention between of and from. Okay, but the influences are from. Across is the preposition, and we normally say the world. Across the world means everywhere in the world. So I travel across the world, I travel around the world. Very, very similar significance, and here it's possible across the world, around the world, exactly the same in the significance here. Okay, this mélanger, so the French people here are probably laughing at me because this really is a French word and you know the pronunciation better than me, but originally this is a French word and it's possible in English. I think it's a mix. So if you have a mélanger, it's a mix, a combination. So that's really a French word, but it's possible in English. To encompass is very important. So remember, a compass is two possibilities. A compass in school, when you're doing mathematics in school, you have the compass, and the compass is to draw the circle. Compass, substantive, but the verb is to encompass. Okay, and it has the same significance. To encompass is the verb, and it means, for example, Dublin encompasses 1 million people. It's like in the circle, in the area of Dublin, you have 1 million people. So the verb here is a little advanced, but very, very good quality English. Okay, so the verb is the S, and because it's the third person, it's ES. I encompass, you encompass, he encompasses, she encompasses, and the city or the country is the third person, encompasses. Okay, expat is an expatriate. So for example, you are originally from a citizen of Brazil, you are a resident of Brazil, but you're a citizen of Brazil, but you're a resident in Ireland, you are an expat. Okay, I am a citizen of Ireland, but I'm a resident in Madrid, so I am an Irish expat in Madrid. So the word expat is important. Okay, from, again, from many places, and here we have many places, and you remember the difference between countable and uncountable, and place, one place, two places, three places is countable. For this reason it's necessary many. So from many places, and if you have much places, that's a typical error. So that's a good example here in the sentence, the difference between many and much. So many is for countable, many places. Such as, so when you give an example, it's necessary such as or like. I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of hobbies, such as painting, running, swimming. I have a lot of hobbies like painting, running, swimming, exactly the same. So such as and like are for examples. Okay, so I'll write that here just to remember. Such as and like for examples in general. Okay, and there's a good example, such as Japan, Italy, Lebanon and France. These impressions, so again plural, one impression and two impressions, and it's these impressions here because it's in relation to the sentence, these impressions. Okay, and usually the verb with impression is to make. It's possible give an impression but make an impression. In an interview for a job, you go for an interview and you want to make an impression, so it's very, very typical to make a good impression. Okay, and here the impression, make daily life, so daily life is just ordinary, everyday, daily life. Here, one of the most diverse and enlivening in the country, so very advanced vocabulary here, and you can see it's related to the verb to live. So also this is very important. The verb is to live, and the substantive is life. So let me just move that. The life is the noun. And also in relation to music, the pronunciation is different. We say live music, so this is very important. Musico in directo in Espanol. Live music, but the verb is to live, so the pronunciation is very different. And then your life, So you need to be very, very clear. And here, this is connected to, obviously, life. We have a few adjectives. You can say lively. The city is very lively. And more advanced, probably more proficient, is enlivening. So very, very proficient English, but basically it has the same significance as lively. A lot of life, okay? And again, the preposition in the country. A tip. So a tip is a verb. For example, the shoulder, you tip. The verb to tip. But also it's consejo in Espanol, and it's the same concept. Because if I want to give you information, very important information, maybe I do this action. Brian, I want to give you information. So the substantive is a tip, like consejo in Espanol. The second significance of tip in English is propina. Probably the same concept, because in the bar, you tip the person and you give money for the service, for the extra help. So it's possible a tip in relation to money, garjeta in Portuguese, and propina and pourboire in French, but also advice or information. So I want to give you a tip. So very important vocabulary. Sao Paulo is often just a pronunciation. So here the T is almost silent. So phonetically the T is almost silent. So often. Correct pronunciation is often. And the significance is frequently. Often, frequently. And the pronunciation is without the T. Often. Lovingly. So remember the introduction, the ly is usually the adverb, and the ly, lovingly, is connected to the verb referred. So lovingly is with a lot of passion, a lot of emotion, and the typical combination with the preposition refer to as. So I refer to Dublin as my home. I refer to you as my friend or as my colleague. So that's the typical combination, refer to you as, just to remember. A local resident. So we have important vocabulary. A resident or an inhabitant. And the second word is very important. So a resident is the verb, or sorry, the noun. And the verb is more formal, to reside in. So the verb is to reside, very formal. Yes, I live in Dublin, but also I reside in Dublin. Okay? And really resident is more typical. And we also have to be careful with inhabitant. And there is a verb to inhabit. That means you live. So if you inhabit this house, that means you live in this house. Okay, you inhabit. And the inhabitant is the person that lives in the house or the city. So the inhabitants of Dublin are really the same as the residents of Dublin. But it's different because in Spanish, creo que solo es habitantes, no tienes in. Pero en inglés es necesario inhabitants. And that's the important instruction. Okay, so inhabitant with the in is the noun, or the same as the resident, and to inhabit is the verb. Okay, just important just to look and to recognize. Okay, so we do one more maybe. Morning. So the morning in Sao Paulo, you can't start a day, so I'll just make this a little bit smaller so you can see. You cannot start a day in Sampa without tasting a proper café de panderia, bakery breakfast, consisting of toasted buttered bread and coffee with a bit of milk. My favourite place is Deli Garage, a coffee shop and deli tucked in the bohemian Villa Madalena neighbourhood, where chef Fernanda Valdivia serves an array of breads and pastries so good they won her the Best Panderia Award of 2018. While enjoying your time in Villa Madalena, head to Beco de Batman, Batman's Alley, to get lost among the famous graffiti-filled alleyways. Okay, so some very important grammar points, and I'll just finish the second one. Your next stop is Pinacoteca, Pina, the oldest art museum in town, housed in a striking 1900s landmark architectural building in the core of the old city centre and surrounded by Jardim da Luz garden. Pina has an excellent permanent Brazilian collection and contemporary exhibits that draw crowds from across South America and beyond. Nearby, visit Estaco, sorry for my pronunciation in Portuguese, Estaco da Luz Railway, a building assembled in Glasgow and sent to Brazil in the beginning of the 20th century to admire the monumental and contrasting architecture. But don't forget to turn around, cross the street and finish your visit at the Stacco Pinacoteca, a part of the Pina Museum, to see great contemporary exhibitions. Okay, so some very, very important vocabulary in the morning. So the first point is can is the modal verb. Remember, can is ability and permission. So in this case, I think it's possible permission or ability. So you is the subject, can is the verb. Remember, the next verb is the infinitive, but it's necessary to eliminate to. So the correct structure is you can start. The incorrect, you can to start. So that's very important because it's a modal verb. And here is the negative. But normally in writing, particularly with can, in the negative it's necessary cannot. In the formal correct way in English, it's very typical and very normal to when you write, only when you write, you cannot. That's better, that's more formal than can't. Can't is more general, but cannot is more correct and more formal, particularly when you write and especially in exams. Okay, so you can't start a day in Sampa without. Normally the next verb after without, it's necessary the ing, without meeting, without going, without having. So usually a little trick, a little tip is after the preposition, before, after, without, it's necessary ing, the next verb. After going, before meeting, that's a little help. Okay? Proper cafe. So it's possible you go to the shop and you receive a coffee, but it's not very good, it's not very real. So you need a proper coffee. You need a real, authentic coffee. So the significance of proper is authentic, real. Okay, so it's just an important vocabulary. Proper, real. Bakery, good vocabulary. So remember the vocabulary. You have a butcher's. A butcher's is the place for the meat, the butcher's, and you have the bakery is the place for the bread and the cakes. The bakery and the butcher's. Okay, we have other vocabulary as well, but that's just important. Consist of, that's the preposition that's necessary. So Dublin consists of Grafton Street, Henry Street, Temple Bar. It consists of. We have another possibility with a phrasal verb, made up of. So consist of and made up of have the same significance. And here I'm going to write to consist of and made up of. So I'll give you an example. Lasagna. My lasagna consists of pasta, meat, cheese. It consists of, but my lasagna is made up of pasta, meat, cheese. So it's the same significance, and it's an example of a phrasal verb. Consist of, made up of. Okay. A bit is very simple, but very, very common and very important. So do you want some chocolate? Yes. Can I have a bit of chocolate? Do you want some help? Yes, I would like a bit of help. Do you want some milk? Yes, I would like a bit of milk. So common in conversation, so important and very simple. A bit of advice, a bit of help, a bit of news, extremely important. So bit is just a little. Also, it's connected to the verb to bite. Morder in Espanol. Manzana, you bite the apple, but the past irregular is bit. Okay, so maybe this is the connection. So really the verb is to bite. Como morder, bite the apple. We also have an expression in relation to lengua. Por ejemplo, morder mi lengua is an expression to bite your tongue. And the metaphor is you want to complain, you want to speak, you want to criticize, you're very angry and you want to say something, but it's a good idea not to say something. So it's better to bite your tongue because you want to stay quiet. Okay, bite your tongue, and it's possible to bite your lip. So this is your lip here. Okay, to bite your lip or to bite your tongue. But a bit is a little, a bit of time, a bit of money, a bit of food, a bit, a little. Very important. Okay. Again, here we have an example of the United States spelling and the UK. So in the United States, to favour is the verb, and in the UK, it's O-U-R. Okay, so the United States, and then watch my computer will have the problem again with the line. So in the United Kingdom, it's favour. The pronunciation is the same really, favour and favour. Really it should be the same pronunciation, but this is the United Kingdom, favour, and this is the United States. And here it's the substantive. So the verb is to favour, substantive is favourite. Okay? This is very advanced vocabulary, but also very fluent and very good. Okay? Tucked in the Bohemian villa. Tuck, the verb to tuck. Okay? Very advanced. And basically it is connected to my shirt. So my shirt, the white shirt, imagine my shirt is like this. Okay, my shirt is out. And your recommendation, you tell me, Brian, tuck your shirt in. So it's necessary to tuck this action, tuck in. That's tuck. Okay, it's typical with the children in bed. At night time, when it's necessary to sleep, you tuck the child into bed. So tuck into bed has the significance to put the blanket on the child with the same action. Okay, very important. Also with food, it's possible to tuck into your food. And informal, very typical, tuck in means to start eating. The same action. Okay, so very important. To tuck the child into bed is number one. To tuck into food is informal, and it means to start eating your food. And again with the shirt, to tuck your shirt in is the same concept as well. To tuck your shirt in. Very fluent English, very normal in conversation with family, but a little tricky if you want to learn English. And this is an example of the location. The deli and the coffee shop is tucked in the area of the Madalena neighborhood. So you have the area and the location is kind of hidden, escondido, hidden. Okay, so it's a good, very good English, very advanced and very fluent for sure. Tucked in the Bohemian villa neighborhood where chef. So you need to be clear with the verb is to cook. The verb is to cook. Yes, it's possible the person is possible a cook or a chef. The error is a cooker. Okay, so the error, it's irregular. A cooker is incorrect. It's necessary a chef or a cook. More typical is a chef in the restaurant, a chef. Cook is possible, but this is very important, a cook or a chef, because a cooker is the object. The object where you cook is the cooker. The person is the chef or the cook. A little confusing, but it's necessary to be very clear. Cooker is the object, cook is the person, or chef is the person. Okay? Important. Very good vocabulary again. So an array of breads. Very, very good vocabulary. Basically it means a selection. So you have an array of options, an array of choices, a selection of choices, a selection. So an array of, very good vocabulary, a selection of, more advanced. Okay? An array of options, a selection of options. Very good vocabulary. Okay? And it's possible in the shop, a wide array of, a wide range of. Very advanced vocabulary, but very important. Okay, here we have so before the adjective. Adjective is good, but so is intensify. So adjective happy, tired, hungry. So intensify the adjective. So happy, hungry, so hungry. Okay, and here it's so good, and usually there is a consequence. For example, happy. I am so happy I could run around the street, because that's the consequence of my happiness. And here it's so good, the consequence of the quality is she won. Okay, and the verb to win is ganar, win, and irregular past, won. Okay, so it's so good. They is the subject, won is the verb in the past, and the verb is to win, and the past is won. Okay, irregular. And that's important as well. So here we have an award, very important as well. You need to be clear with the difference, award and reward. So award is usually physical, like a trophy, a certificate, that's an award. Money, that's an award. Reward is usually behavior or an action for good behavior. For example, I clean the room, I clean the house, and my friend rewards me with food. Okay, so give me as a reward. But award is maybe more official, more serious, a trophy. So you enter the competition and you win an award. So there is a little difference between an award and a reward. Very small difference, but it is important. For example, the mobile company, if the condition, if you spend €20, they reward you with a free ticket. So it's an interesting difference. Very similar concept, but there is a small difference. And here it's a competition, and she won the competition, the past simple, and for that reason she receives an award. Okay, while in Espanol, while is mientras. Okay, while, and usually the next verb is the ing. While eating, while drinking, while going, while enjoying. So normally after, without, before, after, while, the next verb is the ing. Okay, and here's an example: while going, while eating. Also, you need to be clear with the difference between while and meanwhile. They have the same significance. While and meanwhile have the same significance, but meanwhile is necessary at the beginning position of the sentence. Okay, so basically they have the same significance, mientras in Espanol, but meanwhile is necessary at the beginning. Meanwhile at the beginning of the sentence, and while is possible at the beginning or the middle. Okay, while enjoying your time in, so the neighborhood, the barrio, in the barrio, in the area, in the neighborhood. Head to, so here we have a verb, to head. Yes, everybody understands head. This is your head, okay, coco. But there is a verb in English, to head, and basically it's very common in conversation, very typical. It means the significance to go. So today I will head, future simple, I will head to the cinema, I will head to the shop, I will go. It has the same significance as to go, because basically when you move, the head is in the direction. So it's very common to head, to go to. And here they say head to Becco the Batman, go to Becco the Batman. Okay, get lost is very important. Okay, so to get has a few significance. Remember last week, to get has the significance to obtain, to receive, to become, como transformar, llevar a ser, to become. Get tired, get hungry, transform, become, and here it's to get lost. So the verb is to lose, como perder. Lose is the infinitive, lost is the past, and here it's get lost. So it has the significance become lost. And imagine in the city centre, I walk, I am in Sao Paulo, and I walk Sao Paulo, but I am new to Sao Paulo, so I become, I transform, lost. I don't know my way, I don't know the location, I am lost. Okay, so get here means to become lost, disorientated. Okay, also it's an insult if somebody is talking to you or somebody is molestando, disturbing you. It's possible in English, very typical, informal, to get lost, like go away. Okay, get lost, go away is the same significance, like vaya, vete ya, I think in Espanol. So to get lost and to go away are the same. Informal, to go away, to get lost and to go away. Okay. Among is a preposition and it's like with. So at the moment in the house, I am among my friends or my family, in the middle, with, among. Okay, it's like with. And for example, in the shop, in the supermarket, among the products, I have my chocolate. In the middle of the products, with the chocolate, with the products, I have my chocolate. Just a preposition, a bit formal and very important. Fill. So here we have the hyphen, and remember the hyphen connects the two words and the significance is one word. So the verb to fill is llenar in Espanol, fill. The liquid and the glass, fill. And here it's graffiti filled, so it's an adjective. And the alleyway is like the avenue or the lane or the street, the alleyway. And graffiti filled, the significance is the graffiti is everywhere. Okay, so for me this is very interesting and very important to analyze a text like this. For me this is very, very important, and I hope every day my idea is to continue in a similar way, and tomorrow probably we will continue with the next page. But this is very, very important part of English. Also here is a list of phrasal verbs, and this is very important as well. So this is my structure, this is my technique. introduction, analysis of the article, and now maybe a look at the phrasal verb and the idioms as well. Okay, so if you have time and you're happy to continue, we can check one or two phrasal verbs because it's important we continue a little. Last week we stopped at this page. Get in, for example, get has a few significances. Get is obtain or receive, maybe movement, arrive. Okay, also to become, get tired. But here it's very physical and very literal. Get in the car, like enter the car. Okay, that was the last one yesterday. Get off was a possibility, like to send, because you have the product and you get, arrive, move the product off. Preposition on, off. Basically it means send, but there is another significance of get off. So again, in the nightclub, in the disco, if somebody is molesting or disturbing you or me and they touch you, you say get off, like go away. So get is like move, get off, go away, okay, because they are on you. And off. On is usually for surface, on the road, on the street, on the wall, on the table. On is usually on the surface, okay, and me is the same, on me, and opposite is off. Okay, so that was the last day, and then today we begin with get something off, and it's very logical as well. So imagine, here's the example. Can is ability. Can you get this spider off my shirt? Okay, spider is the little insect, the black insect, the spider. So can is a question and permission, and ability. So can you get is obtain, get this spider off my shirt, because shirt is a surface, on the shirt, off the shirt. It's just a little example. Can you get the spider off? Okay, get off is typical with the bus. Remember, the opposite is get in the car. To get in the car is to enter. The bus, we normally say on the bus, because originally the bus was a surface. The aeroplane originally was a surface. The train originally was a surface. So in English it's normal on the train, on the bus, on the plane. And usually we say to get on is to arrive or to enter, to get on, and the opposite is get off. So I need to get off the train, I need to get off the plane. It's to arrive off, movement. Okay, and this is example. We, subject, verb, need to get off, phrasal verb, the bus, at the next stop. Okay, the verb is to stop, but also the substantive, the stop, bus stop. Okay, and again, the same example. The dangerous, to sit on the roof. The roof is the techo, and get off, like exactly the same concept. Okay, there is another possibility, informal. For example, get off is like to have enjoyment, a lot of enjoyment, or a lot of enjoyment. For example, I get off watching the football. It means you have a lot of enjoyment. That's a little informal. Here the example is, where does he get off saying that? Where does he justify, or where does he enjoy saying that? It's a little difficult, this example, but it's possible. Get on is literal and possible. For example, clothes. So I need to get my jacket on. So it's like movement, like to put. So basically get is like movement, and it's possible I need to get my jacket on. Like achieve, lograr in Espanol, to achieve, to get my jacket on. And it's the same as put in this case, to get my scarf on, to get my hat on. It's the same significance as to put in this case. Get is very, 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 very flexible. Okay, and it has a lot of different meanings, and this list is just an example. Okay, the same with the bus. Get on the bus, get on the train, exactly the same. This one is more different, but it's very important. Last week we saw get along. If you have a good relationship with your friend, you get along. So remember, get is like become, movement, and along is the preposition. Walk along the river, run along, it's like beside. So if you have a good relationship, you get along. Calm, a good relationship. And we say to get on, very typical. For example, how are you getting on in Dublin? How are you doing? Because on is continue, go on, continue, and get on is how are you doing. For example, I I get on very well with my friend. I have a very good relationship with my friend. That's very, very common. And here's the example. Natasha, subject, the negative we use do, so does not, and the get on in the present does not get on with her co-workers. So she has a bad relationship, because get on is usually calm and the opposite is maybe not good, and that's the connection with the emotion in the relationship. Again, it's the same, just with is the substantive, get on in general and get on with the person. And here it's also to continue. So I want to start the class and I am late, but I want to get on with the class, to continue, to move, to get on with the class. Okay, very typical in the movies, in the cinema, get on with it. So I go to the dentist, I go to the doctor for a surgery, and I'm very nervous, and finally I say, get on with it, like go, do it, get on with it. Okay, and here's the example. Now that the police have left, como dejar in Espanol, have left, we should get on with the party, continue the party. Okay, the next one's literal as well, get out, to exit. This one is very important. So a relationship, if the relationship is very bad, you have a bad moment, very, very difficult moment, you need to get, like arrive or move, you need to get over the relationship. So you're very sad, you're very emotional, you need to get over the problem. Okay, como conquerar, superar. Okay, so that's very common as well, to get over the difficulty, get over the problem. The society, the economy, it's necessary to get over the pandemic. Okay, get through is very important as well. So through is this preposition, to walk through, and the same concept, you have a difficult moment and it's necessary to get through the difficult moment. Okay, also work, you have a list of work, this is the start, this is the finish, it's necessary to get through the work, to complete or to finish. Okay, so always the movement is very important. And get through is to penetrate. So for example, water and the roof, you have the roof and it's raining and the water gets through the roof, so it's possible to move through. So it's movement, and the preposition is very important as well. Okay, that's a little example of phrasal verbs, and tomorrow we will continue with the list. And then today, this is the idioms. I want to do a couple of idioms. So last week we stopped at hold the fort. So it's very related to military. The fort is the defense. So if you hold the fort, it's like defend. So for example, you leave the house and your instruction to your friend is hold the fort. It's a very informal, a little joke, but it means to defend the house and make sure everything is calm, everything is okay. Hold the fort. You stay and protect. It's a good example. Okay. Honest, as the day is long, just means the person is very, very honest. So the day is long, and the same, the person is very, very honest. It's a little difficult expression. Honest as the day is long means the person is very, very honest, basically. Okay. A hot potato obviously is literal, so the potato is normally cold, but imagine the potato is hot and it's difficult to hold, so you need to move all the time, but it's a metaphor for something controversial. So the topic is a hot potato, and the politician or the person in control, it's not possible to manage the situation, so constantly moving the decision, it's not very clear. It's a hot potato. Okay, it's not very clear, it's not very decisive, it's uncertain, a hot potato. Hour of need is very typical. So this is your hour of need, your moment that you need people, and the most important moments that you need help. This is your hour of need. So in your time of need, in your hour of need, it's your moment that you need help. Okay, this is very important because due is expected. Okay, and for example, the bus in Dublin is due in 10 minutes. It's very typical on the board, in the sign, it says due 10 minutes. The significance is expected. If the lady is pregnant, the lady is due to give birth, or the baby is due in January. So the baby is expected to arrive in January. Due is very important. It's possible two pronunciations, due or due. Okay, for example, you are due a holiday. That means you have waited a long time, and now you deserve, como merecer. So you are due a holiday, you deserve a holiday. Okay? Basically it means to deserve and expect also, and expected as the adjective. But there is another example, due to, and this is more important, due to, debido a, because of. So the party is cancelled due to the virus. So the party is cancelled because of the virus. So due to is like debido a. It's possible as well owing to, because there is a verb in English to owe. Very, very similar. So due to is because of. Okay, and that is important for sure, because of my writing is very, very bad. I think my fingers are very, very cold. So in due course is a very typical expression, and it means in a course is like the course of the day. So due course is when you expect, like normal. So your application will be accepted in due course, because the course, they have other work, and you're expected to deal, to manage your application disposition. So in due course means the normal procedure. Very, very common, okay? Very good expression, very, very fluent and very typical in conversation. Again, in my own time. So I will complete the exercise in my own time. So sin prisa, without rush. So I do it in my time, my own, proprio, my own time, okay? And one is just a person in general, in one's own time. So again, the application, I want the application to process here, but it's necessary to wait in my own time, very relaxed. Okay, in someone's black book, that's a very good expression. So the book and a black book is usually bad behavior. So in school, and the teacher puts the name in the black book. It's very serious, very serious situation. So the name, bad behavior, in the black book. But this is a metaphor. It's possible in conversation that you are in my black book. So I have a problem with you. I want to tell you I have a little problem with you. So you are in my black book. Okay. In the bag is literal. So my book is in the bag, but it's a metaphor to represent that you have success. So the job, you go for an interview in the job, and the job is in the bag. You have the job. You're happy. You're content. It's your possession. So it's in the bag. Very typical in conversation. Very normal conversation. In the bag. So it's your success. Okay. In the black is in relation to business and relation to money. So you are in the black means you're healthy and profit and you have money. In the red is dangerous and you're losing money. So in the black is positive, you're making money, and in the red is you're losing money. Okay. So that's a little example today of idioms, phrasal verbs, analysis of an article, and the introduction for the grammar. For me, that's a very good structure, very good class today. The speaking, if you want to practice some speaking, I recommend that you record maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes monologue with a video or audio, and you can send me and I can correct. And if you give me permission during the class, we can show the monologue. I think it's entertaining and it would be very good to learn. So thank you again. Everything is free. Thank you so much. I'm very, very happy again to help, and I hope this helped you, especially in the pandemic and everybody has to stay at home. If you want to give me a little support or a little donation, I will leave the information here of, well, you saw it already for the PayPal or for the Bizum in Spain. You can leave a little tip. It's at the beginning of the video if you want. It's an option, but I hope you can help me in the future, and I can help you as well. Okay, so thank you so much. Have a great day, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.